What's up, everybody? Practical Tech here. Just wanted to post a quick video. Been seeing a lot of information about EV sales slowing down and a lot of things on the news about EVs, and the big companies are pulling back inventory in terms of EV sales and things like that. Just wanted to give my quick 2 cents on it, right? As a new EV owner with the Ionic 6 or 5, I think there's a lot of things that goes into play when you talk about EV sales. I think the biggest thing is just the narrative around EVs in general, right? I think a lot of folks, the number one question I get from people when they ask me about my vehicle and how do I like it and what do I think, the biggest question they ask is, how is it in terms of charging and long road trips, and how does that work? And are you worried about running out of charge in the middle of nowhere? And the answer that I give them is yes. I think the biggest thing slowing down EV sales and growth is infrastructure. I think the fact that we are struggling to have the government and mass implementation of charging stations, not just in the big cities, right? Chances are, if you're in a big city, all right, if you're in a major metro area, you have EV chargers, Tesla chargers, and all these places all around the country loaded up in your local area. There's a good chance that's not an issue. The problem is if you're taking a 4 or 5 hour trip to another city, the spaces in between, the small towns, the Citcos, the Circle K's, the Chevron stations where there's 2 or 3 gas pumps, and no EV chargers for miles and miles around. That's the issue, right? So I took a 4 hour trip a few months ago, and charged up to full charge, leaving out of the city I was leaving at, and going to the next city 4 hours away, with 300 miles of range. The way the EV works, using up the mileage that I had, once I got down to about 250 miles, it really got really touch and go for the most part, because that last 50 miles going into the next city, you're really sitting there with about 5 to 10% charge left. And the truth is, in between the areas that I was driving, the small towns, a lot of times there's just one charger available. And for me, coming into the city that I was going into, about an hour away, there was somebody using the charger. So it was either stop and wait 30, 40, 50 minutes for that person to finish charging, and then me charge for another hour, or try to push my way into the next city that I was going into, trying to stretch that charge out. In a perfect world, if they had the infrastructure together, there would be 4 or 5 EV chargers at every gas station, at every city, whether small town, large city, or whatever. That's the biggest thing holding EVs back. I think the large oil companies, they have a little bit of say in it. They lose money if everybody moves over to EVs. So that's just my 10 cents, my 2 cents on it. The more the big oil companies have a say, the less you're going to see growth in EVs. Let me know what you guys think. Leave a comment.